Coming back to the whole idea of your zero state and meditation, then you see, after 2,000 years, it's actually more than 2,000 years, this Vipassana. Okay, the history. Now, then this comes to become what you call the behavioral therapy. You know, the behavioral therapy I was talking about a few days ago, where your cognition, your thoughts, and then it produces certain feelings, and then you have certain behaviors. Yeah? And so your thoughts create feelings, and then you do certain behaviors according to your thoughts, which is a survivalist reaction usually. You know, sometimes the survivalist reaction is going on, but there was no aggression, there was nothing. It's just your conditioning that became a survivalist pattern. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And that pattern is like very quick, like you don't reflect, you don't give a chance, you don't, you just react, you respond. And similarly your feelings also. Your feelings are also based on, if it is based on survivalism, you're not aware of it. You have to go to the unconscious. Many people are not aware. So if you are just feeling without reason, then the behavioral psychologist will adjust this by talking to you. But what I want to say here is very interesting, because I think I said a few lessons before that Tantra influenced Freud, and then Freud was influencing Carl Gustav Jung, and Freud was studying all these things from Schopenhauer, and then I was telling you Carl Jung was studying from the Richard Wilhelm. Richard Wilhelm studied in Taoism in China, and he wrote a book on the I Ching. He translated it into German, and Jung has written an introduction to this book. So you see, there are influences that are coming from the East, and then, it's coming back into the West. So Jung was also studying Indian philosophy. He came to India about 6 times. He actually came many times, but in his book he says 6 times. And so these guys are influenced by tantric thinking, one side, and then you have, Vipassana is 2,000 years old, and it re-emerges as behavioral therapy. Behavioral therapy is last 20 years. Can you understand? 2,000 years and 20 years are two different things in the space of time. The behavioral therapy, my criticism is this. When you're doing this therapy, you can actually see the behavioral therapy has one extra thing. You know what I mean? Like a feeling and behavior. In the Buddhist world, they already cut the behavior, and they're cutting the feelings. That is the metta and karuna. They are like, this is not important. If the aggression is there, how to be peaceful with this aggressor, So the Buddhists are saying, like, let's really become peaceful with ourselves. Then you will see peace, and you will see that that is an idiot, and you can ignore this idiot in life. You understand? You develop the skill sets. So in the behavioral therapy, you are dealing with the behavior, you're dealing with the feeling, but in the Buddhist world, you are cutting all that, you're noting everything, you're looking at it from a pure space. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? From a zero space, healthy space, a balanced space, you're looking at the whole thing. But in the behavioral psychology, you're looking at it from the perspective of conditioning. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So you're reconditioning yourself. Feelings, I let go of feelings, I let go of this. You're only letting go of this and that. But what about your true self? Do you understand my criticism? So the Buddhism, they are saying, like, go into your true self. Drop all these conditionings and these things that are affecting your cognition. Cognition is not what the Buddhists are interested in. They are saying cognition itself has no validity because everything is changing. For the Buddhists, everything is changing. There is nothing permanent. Even while we are talking, our body is changing. New cells are growing, old cells are dying, new oxygenation is taking place, carbon dioxide is going. So for Buddhism, everything is a changing platform. You understand? So if it is changing, even cognition, the mind, is also changing, emotion changing, behavior changing. So what they're saying is that this is not your true nature. So ignore it, it's nothing. Do you understand? So they will say, focus on the zero space. And because the zero space is your true nature. And so they will then say, let go, let go, let go. You note the situation or the emotion and let go. That will be the Buddhist meditation. Whereas the behavioralists will say, no, you have these, all these things that you're not dealing with. You know what I'm trying to say? You have this fear of, say, something, and you're not dealing with it. So that is not a healthy way. Do you understand? If you are, say, holding a trauma and you're not dealing with the trauma, then they will say you're just keeping it in the backdrop of your mind, and it will come out as something else according to the behaviorists. But the Buddhists will say this trauma was not true. It was a trauma because you experienced it as a trauma. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have enough loving kindness and you got involved into the problem. You know what I'm saying? Which is quite true. When the Buddhist is saying that, you can remember the old man from India called Mahatma Gandhi. When the Mahatma Gandhi was talking with people, people were very aggressive to him. I don't know if you know that history of Gandhi. He was beaten, he was put into prison, they expected him to die in the prison, but he came out. And when he came out, he speaks the same thing, peace, love. And then they beat him and throw him again. And then he come out again and he always says peace, love. So, in a way it worked for India. You know what I mean? India got the independence from the English by saying peace and love. So the trauma should be forgotten, and the way the Buddhists do is change the situation. Don't give too much credit for the what you think is relevant and great.